I'm on a day trip, me and my boy, up to Nottingham to the Great Britain American football practice. That's the big dog getting out the car right there.
Blend me. Hit him shit. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man.
Good meat, good God, let's eat! Heading up to Nottingham, go and watch the GB national team practice and evaluate how it's all done. Compare to what it was like when we were balling. It's really interesting to see today's players' mentality and actually their work ethic.
Also, we're going to see how they're built. You know, our era, we were built different. Want to see what their mentality is like. We'll see if they're cotton candy or puff pastry.
Either way.
We're gonna see what they really built like.
See how they're built mentally.
Yeah.
See how they're and physically, because playing this game, man, you really won't last long unless you have some form of workout regime that underpins you playing football, man. I can definitely put down £1 million on that statement, because it's worked for me, it's worked for you, it's worked for Victor, it's worked for it just sustains the longevity of your career. A lot of players don't do that. They want to turn up and use practice to get into shape. And to me, if you're asking me, that defeats the whole object. It defeats the whole object. You're supposed to be doing that off the field.
No doubt.
So when you do get onto the field, guess what?
You're ready.
You're ready. And that's one of our saving graces when we first started playing pro football. Because we were in shape. Oh, we're ahead of ourselves.
Yes, Hachi Hutch.
Where are we today?
Nottingham University.
That's right. We're here to observe the GB national adult team as they prepare to play Sweden on the 12th of October, and thereafter they're going to be playing Germany United.
That's correct. Is it 19th or 18th?
It's on the 19th.
Okay.
It's on the 19th.
Okay, sweet. Oh yeah, that's Saturday. I think the 18th is a Friday.
That's right.
Don't forget to hit us up on all the social media platforms. That is YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget the old school Facebook.
As we can see, we've got the under-19s behind us at the moment, but just taking a look at the GB team, going through their drills, looking how it's managed on the sidelines, looking at the quality of the players, how they're in tune, are they running through the line, are they, what have you observed
I'm
so
going to be
far?
very honest, like when I come in, we were setting up, so I haven't had a good chance to have a good look at them. When they come back out in the second half, I'm going to dial in a little bit more, and give you a little bit of my opinion on what I see. Spoke to a couple of players, just there on the sideline, but I haven't had a good look at them yet, but don't get me wrong, we're here all afternoon, so I'll have the opportunity to do that. When you was standing on the sideline, what could you see?
Well, what I could see was, I guess, coaches coaching on attention to detail. Some of the players weren't really making little mistakes, but I mean that's fine. That's why you practice, right? That's why you practice. You practice to get the mistakes out now and refine them for game day.
Yeah.
You know, near the end of the first session, they had a team session. You know, I was watching the running backs running the rock, watching them, watching their
Looks like you was running the rock yourself there a couple of times.
Somehow this ball just found itself in my lap. I can't give this up, man. But yeah, like you do, I was watching the running backs, watching the handoffs, I was looking at his feet, I was looking at the pre-snap readers, watching the linebackers to see if they could read the running backs. The linebackers could read the running backs. Made a good tackle. But I mean, it's practice, and some of these guys look like they're going at third speed. When they're supposed to be going at third. I mean, it looks that side of things. When I can only compare it to when I was playing at GB. Looks a bit better. Looks a bit better. I don't know if that's because of when you add in the fact of the safety of the game, and in my opinion, it's not as. The impact isn't as there as much anymore, and like how it used to be. I don't know if it's partly that, or if these guys are just practicing smarter.
Right. Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I mean, even though they're tackling them down.
Yeah. It seems to be controlled.
It seems more controlled.
Yeah. Where before, sorry for putting my hands on my foot. Where before, people used to run through. When we was playing, you'd run through a player. I don't think you could actually do that anymore. And not only that, it's your teammate. You don't want to be running through him. And
there definitely was an issue with understanding the term of what thud means, and perfecting thud. You know what I mean? Perfecting thud. And just for those that are out there, what thud is basically what defensive players do. Is what they do is when an offensive player that's got the ball is running, what they're doing, they're not really supposed to tackle them down. They're supposed to hit them, hold them up, wrap them up, and kind of let's let go sort of thing. It's purely around the safety, I guess, of the session to try and mitigate against injury as such.
It was like that when we was playing as well. That was you to get good form as well, So you even though you might be going full speed, you need to come in under control, wrap him up, run through him. When you're talking about run through him, it's literally lifting him up, and that will stop the play. So today we've got a GB player here by the name of Jamal Frederick. Right?
Yes, that's correct, Frederick.
Jamal, so can you give us a little bit about yourself, your position, height, weight, and what you enjoy about playing this amazing game?
Just had some lunch, waiting to be there. So, like you said, my name is Jamal Fredericks. I currently play for the London Warriors. Height 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", I think. Weight's probably looking around 290, 295, 295 pounds. I play D-line. I could also play a little bit of linebacker as well, but predominantly mostly D-line. Background about my playing career, stuff like that. Of course. American football, tricky one for me. I was actually a basketball player when I first started playing. I played not too far. I went to Derby Uni down the road. I started playing basketball then, and then I think it got to a point. I was playing power forward, center position. If anyone knows, the height requirements are quite different. But I was a big guy, so they were they let me down in the post. But it got to a point where we were reaching a level. I think we went up to Prem, and then they were like, "Look, you're not tall enough anymore," kind of thing. So, and I couldn't transition. Because now they had scholars coming over now. So you had 6'10", 290 big guys coming over.
You're tall. You're clean taller than me. And all I think of when I hear that, I think of Muggsy Bogues.
I hear it. No, I hear it. I was shocked myself, but when I saw the scholars came, it made sense. This guy's 6'10". These guys don't even jump to dunk. They just and I'm trying to post them up in the. This guy just turns around, I'm like. Right. So anyway, so that happens, and I couldn't transition to another position as such because of my size. But the American on our team was saying bro, you'd be a killer linebacker. Your size, the way you move, you go the basketball stuff, and the transitions. So. Luckily at uni we had an American football team, so I tried out as a joke. Me and my friend also left.
So just remind us what university that
I went to Derby University down the road, not too far, so 20 miles down the road. So I went to Derby Braves, was the name of the American football team. Shout out Derby Braves. That's where it all started. So I went there as a joke. I mean, my friends were like, let's see it, 'cause where would you play American football in Britain? Like, nowhere else you would be able to play. So I then went over, we tried out. The coach was like, you know, you're really good. Like, you move well for your size. You're easily getting off the ball. Like, you're making tackles. And I was playing linebacker. I'm like, you're just flattering me to keep me here. You just want me to keep playing. So I played. We progressed really well as a team. I think we made it to the semi-finals of at the time it wasn't Bucks, it was UAFL or whatever it was. And then I was actually told, I got scouted to go play for a local team, Leicester Falcons at the time.
Oh yes, I remember.
Yeah, Leicester Falcons. So I went and played for the Leicester Falcons. I thought I'd start at Div 2. Played for Leicester Falcons for 1 season. I was like, okay, and then my coach was at Derby.
Sorry, what year was this?
So I started playing around 2013.
Okay, was Stuart Franklin there at the time?
Yes, that was my coach. That's what
I remember the name.
Stuart Franklin's my guy. That's my coach. I still speak to him to these days. He even congratulated me the other day.
Back in the day, no?
Yeah, I imagine. Tony Allen's. I realized Tony Allen's reach is far. Because even him.
Godfather.
I know. I realized. Anytime I mention I start with Tony Allen first, and then work my way back to see what my connection is.
Right.
So yeah, that's where that started. I played there. We did well. We made it to the bowl game or the Brit Bowl weekend. From there, long story short, I decided to put together a little highlight tape as a joke. You know, let me put together my highlights of what I did. Put it up on the web. I got called like semi-professionally in Finland by Vasa, by a team like, hey, you're really good. And that's why I'm like, let's see where this goes. Let's see, have some fun with it. So I went and was in Finland for a while. Played for like a year over there. Whilst I was there, Wayne Hill, who was the coach of GB at the time, messaged me and be like, hey man, you're out there doing your thing. I can see you. You want to come play for GB? I'm like, what, Great Britain have a team? Didn't even know at the time. They have a team out there? He's like, yeah, we want to come down. So at that time, I joined around 2017. That's when I came back and then been on the GB team since. So I've kind of taken it seriously since then once I saw the progression. I've had a couple of tryouts, I went to CFL Combine, stuff like that. But I think the time, because 2013, I was like 2013, 2014, I was aging out. I was like, I started too late to really make a big impact. That's a problem at this point in time. Like, they're looking for guys around 21, 20. Some of the guys in the team, I'm looking like, hey bro, if you really give into this, you could make it. Because luckily for me, I started when I was like 24, 25 is when I then started. They're like, yeah, you know, we're trying to, especially the CFO, they're like, we want a young guy, we're trying to build up. We need now. We don't need in the, you know.
That's the same.
We pretty much suffer from the same.
So that's the same thing. So.
But what I'm interested to find out though is, when did you transition to the Warriors?
When did I transition to the Warriors? So when I came back from, because I used to live in Aylesbury, Milton Keynes. So when I came back from Finland, is then when I then joined the Warriors. Because when I came back is when the Warriors Marv was also hitting me up, messaging me like, hey, I've seen you out there bowling, you make a great middle linebacker for us, you come through, we can. And that's when I came and joined the Warriors. Because I was scared of the Warriors back in the day. When I played for Leicester, because we'd have a brick ball weekend, it was the same weekend. So I'd go play our game, beat whoever it is at the time, and then we go watch the Warriors play, and then you sit up there. And I don't know, you guys might know Pete Cleaver. I don't know if you might not know.
We know Pete.
Yeah, man, I'm like, he played at Leicester Falcons too. He sat there and be like, this is where you should be playing. I'm looking, I'm like, with these guys, you hear the snap, you hear, I'm like, this thud, the helmet's flying off. I'm like, no, Pete, this ain't, Pete, my heart can't take this. I think I could be up in the middle there. At this point in time, I was too scared to join the Warriors because they were rugged. Since I've been there, I'm like, ain't nothing, man, ain't a thing. It's just football at the end of the day. It's just football.
So you transitioned into the Warriors. So you're starting, I'm assuming, on the defensive line?
Yes, I start on defensive line. I'm also captain of the Warriors as well. Okay, and I also start on defensive line. I do a bit of linebacker work when they need to, as such, but mostly defense.
So what do you prefer? 0, 1, 3, 9, 7, tech?
I prefer, I think, knowing me and what I know of football, I'm probably, tree tech is probably my position. Wow. If I went to the transition anywhere, tree tech. I'm looking like I know this is probably a bit bigger than me, but I'm looking like a Aaron Donald-like player, that kind of size. That's the kind of build I'm looking for. Obviously, like an Aaron Donald, that kind of player. But at this level, I can play edge. I think I prefer edge this bit a bit more because I like getting after the quarterback a bit more.
More 5 or 7, or
yeah, the five, more to five. Not so much an edge rusher, but more so much of like a defensive end. Me and this guy one-on-one, let's go. Let's see. Because at my size and with I trust my speed to get past him. And then when he Yeah, and then on top, because they expect me to be slower because I'm bigger now, and then they see me coming, oh, he's actually quick. But then they can't then move me because I'm bigger as well, so it makes it a lot easier. And I think Marv and those guys like that, so especially at this.
I was just going to ask you, the offense and defense. I mean, offense of both of those teams, Sweden, are they a run or more passing? Which
Based on the tendencies we see, I feel like they tend to run a bit more because they've got quite a mobile QB, so they want to keep us on our toes. They run a fair bit without giving a couple of triple options, stuff like that they give out. But I think the QBs normally can also pass as well. But I feel like they want to keep us on it, so they will run the ball a lot. I think they know our strengths is we have a good. In the trenches, we're pretty good on both sides of the ball. We've got ELF linemen, we've got D linemen that are good enough to play ELF, and have played ELF as well, so they know that. So they want to keep us honest, keep us stretched out. Don't make it too easy for us. So I think that'll be their mantra if they're doing their homework.
Jamal, much appreciate you taking your time out.
No worries.
It's been a busy day. Much.
Appreciate it, Jamal.
All right, thank you very much for having me on, man. I'll check it out.
You got second half of the day coming up now.
Yeah, I do have second half of my day.
Watch the second half, see how you get on.
Yeah, have a look, see how I'm doing. Tell me if I'm living up to the billing. Tell me if Aaron Donald is my correct, my spirit animal.
Oh, he is, man. That man's a beast.
That's the guy I try to live up to.
Absolute beast.
But I'll bring Lewis along.
All right,
No way. Cheers, bro.
Nice
I'll catch
one,
you.
man.
I'll tell Tony I bumped into you guys.
Yeah. We bumped into the Tony in the finals.
Were you the finals?
Player?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we have Lewis Thomas, offensive lineman for GBT. Lewis. You good?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad at all, man. We heard, from Jason, he was saying that, you've been playing in Europe, and that kind of pricked out my ears a bit. So just give us a quick, 2-3 minute narrative of where you started.
Okay.
And clearly, obviously, where you ended up, because you've been playing in the ELF, right?
Yeah. So I'm from Buckinghamshire, and I started playing for the local team in Buckinghamshire. I think it was Buckinghamshire Wolves they were.
Okay.
The youth kitted team. And I played there, but I really sort of did it as like a part-time thing, because I was a big rugby guy. So I'd do it in the summer,
you
keep
transitioned
conditioning.
from
rugby.
rugby.
Yeah. And I never really thought like I'd be here, playing where I am now. I always thought like I'd be continuing with rugby throughout. So I did it in the summer. I did I think from 14 to 16, and then I came here. This was my uni, Nottingham.
Yeah.
So I came here, and I tried out with the rugby team, and I didn't really like the atmosphere there. It was like typical rugby culture. I didn't really vibe with it. So I tried out for the American football team. I really liked what they were about.
Mm-hmm.
So I played my first season here. I think 2016-17. And then that summer I went to Tamworth because a bunch of the guys here played for Tamworth. Tamworth Phoenix.
Yep.
It was the year we won the Brit Bowl in 17.
17.
Wow. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so that was a good year. I had a really good time. So then my second year I came back to Nottingham, played here again, and then that year at Tamworth we played in the European competitions they used to do.
Yeah.
I think they still do it now. It's a bit different. And that sort of introduced me to European football, and I was like, what is this? Like, a different level, kind of. And it really perked my interest.
Yeah.
And we had a good experience out there in Denmark. We played a team from Sweden, I think Norway. And then we played again in the National League after that, and we lost to the Warriors in the final. But then that was sort of like, wow, that's the next step for me.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I want to do. So I finished my season here in Nottingham in 2019, and I went out to Europe. So I played for the Saarland Hurricanes.
Right.
That was my first team in the GFL 2, I think it was.
Whereabouts are they?
They're Southwest Germany,
Okay.
an hour from Frankfurt.
Right.
And that sort of introduced me to that world. And then from there I played, COVID happened after that, so I missed a year. But then in 21 I played in Potsdam with the Royals. And from there I progressed into the ELF, because the ELF started in 21. So I played 21 in the GFL, and I thought, because my goal every year is to play to the best level I can and play in the best league.
Yeah.
So I could see the ELF was becoming that kind of league where all the good players are going to in Europe. And I said, that's the next step for me. So 22, I got picked up by Hamburg, and I played in the ELF team in Hamburg. We got to the final that year. We lost to the Vienna Vikings in the final.
Yeah.
That was it from there. I played in Milan last year for the Milano Seamen in the ELF. It wasn't a great year last year. We didn't do very well, but it is. It is. And then this year I was playing for the Paris Musketeers.
Okay.
So just a quick question about the ELF. Do you only sign 1-year contracts? Or?
So some guys do sign multiple year contracts. There's a couple guys who are like either imports or homegrown players who will sign like 2-3 year deals.
Yeah.
I don't try and tend to sign multiple year contracts because you could sign a 2-year contract, but then the coaches all leave or they get fired or something, and then you come back and there's a new coach, and you might not be like fit for his system, or you might not like him on a personal level. So I always find it's better to sign 1-year contracts because you know what you're going into, you know what to expect, and at the end of the year it's done. If you don't like it, you can move on, and you're not stuck there.
Right.
Okay, so fair enough. Right. So the way I look at it is, and this is just my opinion. My opinion would be to get the longest contract, the most amount of money, because you just don't know where your next paycheck's going to come from. Okay, and you know as well as I do, in this game, you've got to adapt. You've got to be adaptable. You must have seen so many different offenses out there, so many, and had to adapt to those offenses, the play calls, players, etc. So I hear what you're saying, but I mean, for me, I would have done it. I would have tried to do it the other way around. But also, when you think of it, my way potentially I could shoot myself in the foot, because if I have a stellar season and I sign a 2-year deal, an absolute stellar season, and another team wants me, I'm now in a bit of a position. Right?
But like the whole, like what you said about like learning different things, I think for me that's part of the experience, and that's something I like about it, because you go to a different coach every year, you've got like a different scheme, a different system, and okay, there might be some aspects that you don't like, but there'll also be a lot of aspects, for me anyway, a lot of aspects I do like. So I feel like every person I played for, I've learned something different from them.
Right.
Whether, be about passing the ball, running the ball. Obviously I don't really pass because I'm an offensive lineman, but you still pick up some of those aspects.
Yeah.
But you just learn about different schemes as well. Because my ultimate goal is, once I'm done playing, I'm going to be, want to coach here.
So you're trying to get as much information as possible.
Exactly. You get so much information, and then you can redistribute that to the game here. But that's what I like about it, because you meet different people and you meet different coaches and you learn different things.
So where do you actually, I'm looking at the size and I'm thinking guard or centre. Where do you play?
Predominantly guard. Yeah. I have played centre as well. I played tackle as well in the UK. Yeah. In Europe they want bigger tackles because guys are longer.
Taller.
Yeah. So I'm a bit short for tackle. Yeah. But mainly guard.
So left or right?
Left predominantly as well, yeah.
Definitely left.
Right side.
Okay. So as an offensive lineman now, I'm a running back. I've had a real good relationship with linemen back in the past.
Need to.
You tell me. What is your best run play? As in pulling, as in doing a deuce block to the second level. What is your best?
My favourite, I'd say my favourite and my best is power. Power running, traditional power. Yeah. So you've got the tight end kicking out or the fullback kicking out, the guard's wrapping, everyone else is blocking down, you've got the running back hitting the hole, because there's no room for bouncing, as a running back. You have to follow the gap. So it means us up front, we have to do our job and we have to be more physical.
Trenches, bruh. That's what I was talking about. Trenches.
Just grimy, yeah. Look, that's why. Look, but just look. He's look, but look at him. He's got his braces on. He means business.
It's like, and if someone's in your way, you better move them. Otherwise, that's it. Yeah. That's like my favourite kind of play, like power. I like ISO as well, because it's the same thing, just no putting. You just got to get guys moving, and power, ISO, blast, like all those kind of plays. Like,
what's your height and weight?
I'm in kilos. I'm 130 kilos.
What's that?
And then height in feet and inches, I'm 6'2". 6'3" on a good day.
Remember what shoes you got, yeah?
Yeah.
So GB program, GB team, you've got 2 games coming up back to back on the 12th and on the 14th, on the 19th, I'm sorry. I mean, how are you getting yourself prepared for that? And your teammates on the offensive line, this is like a double barrel question here. How do you feel that you guys are gelling to getting ready to play those games?
So what's good about our program here is the fact that we train all year round. So, we've been training for these games since last December, with the trials and then the practices. So I was away in France until from April until now, basically. I got back on Wednesday. So I have missed a few practices. So my personal thing is I'm you know, just remembering and catching up on the playbook today, getting back to like how it was before I left, and just sort of reaffirming myself with the offense here. But in terms of chemistry, because we've trained so much with each other throughout like this year and then the previous years as well, you know, we all know each other pretty well now. So it's like, I know how to communicate with this guy and this guy, because it's not like I've just come in here from never having trained before.
Yeah.
I've been with this team for a little while now, and there's a lot. You know, we get new guys come in every year.
Yeah.
Obviously, because guys retire, guys say I don't want to play for the national team anymore. So you do get new guys come in, but like, you know, we retain a lot of the core guys as well throughout the years. So I feel like we've got sort of a good grasp and a good sort of idea of like who is what and how we play.
Okay.
And I think we've got quite a good chemistry with like our O-line especially.
That's good.
I've always wanted to know this question. I've never really actually asked this question. But an offensive lineman now, on passing plays, you know, if you held a guy up for more than 4 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And that QB hasn't let go of the ball yet, and he's running up and down. What is that like for you as an offensive lineman, man? Because that must be like frustrating. I know you guys work on passing plays. If it's a 3-step drop, it's a 5-step drop, you're talking about 2 seconds to 3 seconds max.
Yeah.
But when it's like 6 seconds, 7 seconds, what's that like, man?
So, I mean, you know, some plays are designed to give more time than others.
Yeah.
So we had this summer, for example, we had 7-man pro where it was off the play action. So we have the running back in the tight end staying on the
Protection.
Protecting the protection.
Yeah. So we would know these are the plays where we want to give like 5-6 seconds, because they're going to be deep routes and we need to give them time to develop those routes.
Yeah.
So you sort of know what to expect. When those shorter passes, for example, where you have to block a little bit longer, it's a little bit harder because you're still there and you think,
Is
you see the D-line trying to go, and you think, has he not thrown the ball? Like, come on. Especially with a scrambling quarterback as well, that's always hard, because we had so my quarterback this year, he in my eyes, he's the best quarterback in the ELF. So other people disagree, but in my eyes, he's the best quarterback in the ELF. He's a scrambler. He likes to move around. So it sometimes makes it a little bit harder to, like, you know, maintain your block when he's you know,
because you don't know where he is,
but at the same time, he's bailed me out so many times, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to say anything, because he's bailed me out of a few times. We're like, oh, I've let him go, watch out, and he's made a play, he got a first down. But, you know, you just have to do your job. You know, you just have to do your job and just, okay, yeah, he's taken a bit too long to throw that here, but it doesn't matter. Like, I've got to just shut up and not complain.
No doubt.
Junior. Yeah. So listen, thank you very much for your premium time. You know, stay safe out there, and all the best in the 2 games that are coming.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be watching in the practice, don't worry. Thank you. And this afternoon we got Junior Shodipo. Yes, I got it.
I'm doing very well, very well. It's a nice day, privileged to be here at the David Ross Sports Village at Nottingham. It's going well.
Good, the sun's shining, that's all we need, man. You know what I mean? Yes, stay wherever you're staying.
Good? Stay like this.
So, Junior, give me a little background about yourself, you know, how you started and how you got here.
A few times before, so I describe it like paying the iron price, because unlike a lot of people, I didn't actually play in uni. I didn't start in uni, so I didn't get baby fed the process as some people did. There was a lot of work on the sideline and being a backup, and then I would have been playing for the Coventry Jets when they were still a very active team for the juniors. Did 1 year at senior. I did trial out at uni, and then just had other priorities going on. So focusing on education, and in the summer, I then play senior ball. So after that, I think I've got a brother who had moved down to play with Tamworth Phoenix, who the head coach here, Jason Scott, was at as the DC. And just the energy at that time was just exactly what I was looking for. Yeah. So there was a lot of motivation. Got moved from safety to corner, and there was a lot more teaching that I got to appreciate. That was probably what then made me want to commit more to football, because at some point I actually thought I was just going to stop playing because I'm coming home and I've got my brother and my best friends, and they're telling me these great stories about what they've done today, and I'm like, oh, I've just got a pass breakup, do you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So, and these are times where, because I wasn't started, I'm not getting the starter reps, like I'm helping out with the offense. So that was being honest, it was kind of a long experience, but I felt like it was what I needed to get to the level that I'm at now. and I definitely appreciate it. So now I'm playing at the Tamworth Phoenix. I'm the defensive captain, and with all the time and effort I've propelled myself into within that team, it's gotten me the attention and the skills that I need to then match that energy at this level.
So you said you started at safety.
Started at safety.
So what made the change from safety to corner?
I think it was just it wasn't my idea for starters. It was Coach Scott's idea, and I think it was a matter of just seeing how to apply myself on the field. I believe I was just athletic enough and quick enough to play and adapt in that position. Whereas safety, I wasn't able to express my skills as much as I was at corner. And I love it. I can't lie. I think corner is definitely
You prefer
the hardest
corner?
position as well. Yeah. Whatever anyone tells you, it's definitely the hardest position. You have most of the burden on you. You're like a goalkeeper. You're in normal soccer, kicky football.
It's an interesting analogy. Like you're like a goalkeeper.
Yeah, because if you wander off and you want to do your own thing, then in comparison to a safety, in my opinion, you leave this person who's completely isolated that can just take everything for the team.
So what would you class yourself as? Or what would wide receivers class you as? A cover corner, or a corner that plays like a safety, that lays the wood?
So it's hard to describe. That's funny because I'm definitely a cover corner. I've always been a lockdown corner. It was at the time the way I played, it was more of a fear of the receiver getting someone up on me. So my thing was I would definitely just lock him up and I'll deal with the ball later. After time, I started becoming a bit more familiar with ball handling skills and stuff like that. But being honest, I think tackling is one of my strongest qualities. And I think at cornerback, if you can tackle, first of all, you should be able to cover to an extent. So if you can tackle, you add that extra value in comparison to your typical cornerback has to offer. So I think definitely my tackling is up there, and that is one of the things that will set me apart from other corners.
So how many caps have you had for the GB?
I don't have any caps yet. So
right, okay.
if this all goes well, then I'll be getting my first cap and doing my best to show out and prove why I deserve it.
No doubt. And you're going to be going up against international competition for the first time, is it?
I've gone against international competition, and when I say international, I'll say I've played amongst players who have come from abroad.
Okay.
So appreciate the scheme may be different, but if you've got an American quarterback and you've got an American receiver, and they're their number one people, and that's how they run the offense. And I can say I've done my fair share against that. I've done my fair share against Europeans who come over. So in 2018, playing with Tamworth Phoenix, we were in the NEFL. So we would have played against the Oslo Vikings at home, where we did a good job on them. You can have a look at that. That's on YouTube.
Go plug that one more time.
Oslo Vikings 2018 against Tamworth Phoenix. And yeah, we did very well. I think we scored like 3 touchdowns.
What number did you wear?
I'm number 12. I've been wearing number 12 since 2017.
You wear number 12 here as well?
No, this number 12 says.
Who's number 26?
Number 26. If I'm being honest, I don't pay attention to numbers.
Okay.
But,
it's just that he made a pick on the last play.
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, I know who that is. He spent some time out with Salland Hurricanes in Europe, so yeah, he's pretty good. He's here, isn't it? So,
I think on the last question, Mike, we need to ask is, you got 2 games back to back over a fortnight, on the 12th of October and the 19th of October. I mean, how are you preparing for that mentally and physically? Because you're playing the Swedes, they're ranked 4th. You're playing the Germans, which are ranked 12th, but don't watch that. They're not ranked 12th. I mean, I think it's because they came into the competition late. But how are you preparing for those 2 games?
So you may have heard this before. We just stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You stay on your toes, stay prepared. We stay up to date with scout. Try and start that early. If there are any developments and any changes in personnel, then we can take that into consideration as well. But I think it's a matter of just staying on top of the ball. We've had certain things like our Blue v White intra-friendly competition at a time where they were cutting the top 100 to the 75. So certain things like that just remind people that you need to stay competitive. And I think that game alone would have pushed a lot of people to try and show what they really have. So I know people, I personally know people who I think some of their biggest performances was in a game like that, because being transparent, there are some people who are big game players, so they know when the heat is on, they're going to show up. But mostly, you will definitely have people who are on the ball and ready to go from tomorrow. I know people, a lot of us are ready. We're ready.
Good.
So it's a matter of time.
Just
sharpening the fine details.
Just one last thing. Do you do any extra work outside of the GB, like, you know, with yourself, as in, you know, do you watch more film? Do you do footwork training? You know, what do you do outside of coming down here?
So I believe everyone does. You don't really have an option. We're not as privileged to have as much contact time, especially when you've got the season going on. So, of course, there are other people who play for certain teams, and that will drive you to stay on top. But then there are you just got to be on top of it, really, proactive about things. Make sure you're making that extra effort to do what other people are doing, and other people are not doing. Other people are sleeping, taking breaks and all that kind of thing, and you just have to stay on the ball. So field work in your own time, staying on top of scout, using huddles, staying on top of all of that. And it's essentially, we do what we do here away from the field in your free time, because you can't rely on dealing with this every time we're here. You've got to do that extra work.
Okay.
For real.
I like to hear that, man. It sounds like, you know, you're working hard to get better every time, which is good.
Right.
So what is your next step?
So the next step is the Sweden game.
There you go.
So
There you
we'll be
go.
traveling to Sweden. You can only take one game at a time. There's no point focusing about anything after that. So it is definitely the Sweden game on the 12th. We'll be traveling to Oslo, and then we'll be playing in Sweden. And things like that, just ensuring that we can get there at a good time instead of traveling on the day, are the extra things that we do to stay prepared. So I think it'll be a very, very good occasion for us.
Good. Okay.
Lock in, load, and let's come back with 2 wins.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Jay?
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Have a good one, man.
Thank you.
I'm gonna watch it.
So we've got Sam Bloomfield from the Manchester Titans QB. How you doing, my man? You good?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, good.
Okay. So how has practice been for you so far
Today?
today? With you?
Yeah, I think that we don't have a whole lot of install booked for today. We just had 1 or 2 little bits. I think we've done a good job of kind of clearing up any questions we've had around those. And now we're just kind of working through all the stuff that's kind of installed, working on the finer details, and you know, whether that be a yard here or there, those finer details at this level are what really counts. You know, the margins are what we're working on now, because the margin for error at this level compared to, you know, perhaps domestic football is significantly smaller.
Yeah.
So we're just working on those today.
Okay.
So being a field general, like you are, you've got to obviously take control of offensive line, of receivers, etc. I mean, how does that differ from playing club football to playing for the national team? How does that differ? Same approach, or do you do something different?
Well, you know that it is different, but if you come at it with a different approach, you might, not be as confident. You might not execute in the same way. So I think that you have to come at it with confidence, because if people don't believe that you know what you're supposed to be doing, if you don't know what they're supposed to be doing, and if you don't have the confidence and the authority to, stamp your foot down and say, stop talking, the play's about to happen right now and you need to execute, then they're not going to have that confidence in you either. So I would say I have a very similar approach, but internally I'm aware that I have to earn that, their confidence. I have to earn their respect to, in order to have them truly listen.
And I know that relationship between you have a relationship between you and your offensive line, a relationship between you and your receivers, with regards to the timing with your running backs. But do you have that consistency here at GB? Meaning, do you have Titan receivers here? Because straight away, if you do have that, I guess you can put your shoulders a little bit, because you know how to work with them, you know the timing, those receivers know you. But when you don't have that, I guess that could be challenging. What type of balance do you have here?
Yeah, it's always good to have, you know, say a Titans receiver or a Titans running back out there, because I'm used to their movement. I'm used to recognising. So take Adam Bamba, for example, one of our receivers. I've worked with him since 2017 as his quarterback. I'm used to his body control, so I know when he's going to dip and when he's going to cut, and that is obviously really useful for me. However, that's perhaps not the best thing for me to purely rely on here, because if Adam's out there and we're running a concept and I know how he's going to move, I might hone in on him when he's not the correct read.
Yeah.
So what I have to do is I have to kind of separate myself mentally from my Titans ties and say, yes, I do have this great relationship and this great familiarity with those players. However, I need to get just as familiar with Lewis Kirby, who's been playing out in Germany. I need to get just as familiar with Aaron Sequela, a running back, so from Rushmore. So, yeah, of course I have that relationship and it does benefit us, but I think one of the benefits of having practices sort of every month or so with a core group of guys is that we do get to work on that rhythm quite a lot, and we do have
that cohesion.
sessions booked in with the offensive line, with just the running back, so we can work on that, our communication, our understanding of each other, and ultimately then, when we come together in team segments, hopefully the execution is there for everybody.
Right-handed quarterback?
Right-handed quarterback with a sidearm.
With a sidearm. I've always seen that. Always seen that.
Yeah.
Question around that though is, do you tend to have a more of a personal relationship with your left tackle, him being someone who blocks the blind side, or is it more even across the line?
Here at Great Britain, I would say it's really quite even. If anything, the relationship that the sort of the strongest relationship that I have is probably with the centre.
Okay.
At somewhere like Manchester, because of our scheme, I would say my relationship with my right tackle is actually probably the best.
Playside.
Because we roll out
to the right,
quite a lot.
We talked about that.
We did.
So my familiarity with my right tackle Owen Smith is quite strong.
Yeah.
Here, Alex Phillips, centre. We've been working together for 3 years now. He's a London Warrior. I'm a Manchester Titan, and everything's left at the gate there.
Which is good.
So,
and that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not playing at club level.
No, without doubt.
We're not winning games otherwise.
Yeah.
Get it. Brilliant. So, within the space of 2 weeks, in October, being the 12th and the 19th, we've got 2 games coming up. How does Sam prepare for that? I mean, from my understanding, this is the last practice, then we've got 1 walkthrough. Thereafter, you've got 2 games. And what does a Sam do to get prepared for these 2 games? Because you've got Sweden, who are ranked 4. You've got Germany, which are on paper ranked 12, but they're no way 12. How are you preparing for that?
Similarly to how I would prepare for our games, at domestic level, I watch as much tape as I possibly can. We have spreadsheets set up to identify players. Now, obviously, at international level, you never know truly who's going to be on the roster, who's going to be selected, because you don't have sort of weekly film. But what we can do is look back at past film, or we can look to club level film and see the people who have been playing at, say, club level for Sweden or Germany. We'll go and watch their highlight tape. We'll go and watch their games. So, for example, Karlstad Crusaders, Stockholm Mean Machines, they have a lot of players who play for the Swedish team. So I've gone and watched Karlstad games. I've gone and, not live, but I've gone and watched Karlstad footage. I've gone and watched, Stockholm Mean Machines footage. Identify the players who play for the national team, see how they move defensively. Does the corner bite hard on underneath routes? Is there the potential to get a safety to come down or to drag him across with my eyes? So a lot of watching tape, identifying scheme and players, and then equally, I like to draw up our playbook a lot. So I have whiteboards, and I have one of those little pads that you can kind of delete things on, and I will just take a play. I'll try and sketch it up in all of our formations against the likely fronts, and then And then once I've done that a few times, I'll feel comfortable enough that, you know, when I come out to scout here or when I go out there and play against Sweden, I've seen this before, and I know that number 23 out there, the cornerback, is not likely to bite. He's going to stay off all day. I know that the inside linebacker is going to come down to the line of scrimmage and show me that he's blitzing all the time. Half the time he doesn't. So it's a cheat sheet. Game film is a cheat sheet, and I need to know
Without a
before the game.
Pre-game prep. Sam, unfortunately we run out of time, but great talking to you. Unfortunately we wanted to talk to you when you played against the Aztecs, but you know, we couldn't get you. That was pre-game actually, we wanted to talk to pre-game.
Right, okay.
Listen,
But you escaped anyway.
all the best in the next 2 games, and yeah, we will be watching.
Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
No worries.
Have a good one, man. Thank you.